Prepare yourself because all new iPhones are on the way. As we approach the first birthday of the iPhone 15 series, all eyes are on the next generation of hardware coming in September, especially as Apple has already teased a pretty beefy software update in the form of iOS 18 coming with Apple Intelligence. And while this doesn't look like being a revolutionary year for the iPhone in terms of hardware, there are still plenty of things to get excited about if you're itching for an upgrade. Let's jump right in with the regular non-Pro iPhone 16. Once again, we're expecting this to arrive in two sizes, a standard 16 and a 16 Plus. That rumored slim iPhone probably won't be arriving until 2025 at the earliest. So there are two big design changes we're expecting to see for the entry-level iPhones in 2024. First, numerous reliable reports are claiming the camera layout is changing back to a vertical orientation a la iPhone X, as opposed to the diagonal layout we've seen for the past several years. And there could be a few reasons for this. New camera components, possibly, though right now we're not hearing anything to suggest the regular 16 will include any refreshed camera hardware. Another possibility is better spatial photo and video support. Having both cameras placed on the same horizontal plane could help out with that. That's fair enough, but I'm not sure what the market crossover is between Apple Vision Pro owners and base model iPhone users. But then again, you could say that about the Vision Pro and basically any other product right now. On the inside, the base model iPhones are tipped for an upgrade to 8GB of RAM, which could help with future-proofing and multitasking, along with Wi-Fi 6E for faster speeds when connecting to newer routers that support 6GHz. That's according to a report from tech analyst Jeff Pu, and would bring both specs for the base model in line with the Pro. As for the SoC, there had been some rumors that an Apple A17, note not A17 Pro, would be used in the base models, and that Apple had named the A17 Pro as such in order to make room for a non-Pro version to power the standard model of the iPhone 16. Now that could be a binned or lower clocked, lower powered version of the chip powering the 15 Pro. Since then though, it's come to light that the approach for the iPhone 16 might be quite different. Once again, Jeff Pu reports that instead Apple might be considering its iPhone 16 SoC as an A18, while the iPhone 16 Pro would get an A18 Pro. That could be in part because both 2024 iPhone chips are expected to be built on TSMC's second gen and more reliable 3nm process, as opposed to the first iteration for last year's chips. That'd mean the iPhone 16 chip having some efficiency benefits over the A17 Pro, hence the potential numbered branding change. This decision is just as much about marketing as technology though. There's currently no information on any architectural changes in the new chips yet. And so whichever name Apple goes with, it seems the regular 16 should be getting a chip that isn't just a reheated cut down A17 Pro. Another Pro feature reportedly coming to the base model iPhones is the Action Key. First added in last year's Pro, this programmable button has been opened up to a lot more functionality in iOS 18, so expanding it across the entire product line makes sense. And some early CAD renders also point to a possible camera shutter button on the lower right edge as part of a feature that'd be rolled out across the entire iPhone 16 range. Of course, this being Apple, you'd expect it to not just be another button, and sure enough, a report from The Information suggests that it could be touch sensitive, so swiping along it might allow you to zoom in and zoom out without fumbling around and pinching the screen. Another possibility is a two-stage shutter button through pressure sensing technology similar to that of the old iPhone home button or MacBook trackpads. Other possible hardware upgrades rumored for all four iPhone 16 variants include micro-lens OLED technology. This is a pretty old rumor dating back to even before the iPhone 15 launch, suggesting that display providers including Samsung have the technology ready to go, and if included in the next-gen iPhones, could improve display brightness and viewing angles while reducing power consumption. The tech has previously been included in some Samsung Ultra phones, so it wouldn't be a revolutionary addition if included. I've got to say though, the one display upgrade I'm hoping to see is something akin to the Corning Gorilla Armor from the Galaxy S24 Ultra, which cancels out light reflections in an almost magical way. No rumors at all to suggest that's coming at the moment, but I want to mention it because for me personally it's definitely a top 3 feature on my own iPhone 16 Pro wishlist. So speaking of the Pro, in terms of both design and specs, it's looking like another year of evolution, not revolution. That doesn't necessarily mean a boring year for new Pro iPhones though. In addition to the display enhancements and that camera capture key, larger displays are reported to be coming for both flavors of 16 Pro. Reports from several analysts point to a 6.3-inch panel for the Pro and 6.9 inches for the Pro Max, a sizable step up for both, and leaked dimensions for both models suggest these display size increases won't just be the result of trimming down on bezels. Both models will actually be getting taller and wider as well. That suggests the heft of both Pro models could be much more in line with that of the chunkier 14 Pro series, with some leaked dimensions suggesting both will be even taller than their 2022 counterparts. Two new Pro iPhone colors are expected too, dubbed Desert Titanium and Titanium Grey, which to me sound every bit as dull as the current Pro colorways. Kind of a shame to see when you do have Samsung, for example, managing to do titanium in a bit more of a colorful way. Internally, alongside the A18 Pro chip we've already discussed, Apple is reported to be overhauling the Pro iPhone's thermal systems for improved performance and battery life. A metal battery casing has been pictured in a leak from late 2023, pointing to improved heat dissipation compared to the foil enclosures used previously, along with a modest bump to battery capacity printed on the outside. And a new graphene-based thermal system, according to a supply chain leak, could address the overheating issues that some folks experienced with the 15 Pro while playing into iOS 18's strengths in its new gaming mode. All these improved cooling capabilities could also allow for faster charging, particularly over MagSafe, which does generate more heat than plugging in over USB. In 2023, the camera system was a big reason for a lot of folks to choose the 15 Pro Max over the smaller 15 Pro. Stumping up the extra cash for Apple's most sizable handset was the only way to get that 5x tetraprism telephoto camera. However, the rumor mill has for some time been pointing to that 5x telephoto making its way to the smaller Pro iPhone in 2024. A 12-megapixel sensor is expected for that telephoto, but it's unclear if it'll be the same part used in the current 15 Pro Max telephoto sensor. Hopefully there'll be some room for some upgrades there, because as someone who's used it for almost a year at this point, telephoto performance is one of the most disappointing things about the current iPhone flagship in my opinion. A new 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera is also expected for both Pro variants, according to Jeff Pu. That'll allow for improved low-light performance and possible Pro RAW support for that ultra-wide as well, while also suggesting potential pixel binning capabilities for more fine detail captured between ultra-wide and one-time zoom levels. And the primary camera could also be getting a pretty significant upgrade to a new Sony IMX903 sensor that's larger than that of the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, moving from 1/1.28 inches to 1/1.14. Now, a report from Digital Chat Station suggests that only the Pro Max, not the Pro, will get this upgraded sensor, with the smaller model sticking with the older IMX803 from last year. Take that with a pinch of salt, as it is only a single-sourced rumor, but I kinda hope it isn't true just for the sake of having the full flagship iPhone camera experience available across both sizes. As we've seen from the Android world, once you get up to a sensor size of around an inch, there are a lot of fun creative possibilities in photo and videography. Finally, we have software, and thanks to Apple's WWDC keynote, we already have a good idea of what's coming in iOS 18. Sure, you'll have changes to the icon theming and dark mode, and new ways to customize your home screen, and big changes coming in the health and photos apps as well. But really, the biggest addition is Apple Intelligence, and it's something which, at the time we're making this video, nobody outside Apple has really had the chance to properly try. Working with OpenAI, Apple has not only introduced the kind of email writing and cutesy image generation features we've seen elsewhere. No, Apple Intelligence will power a new, smarter Siri assistant, and Apple's AI should be there to help with everything from setting camera modes to updating contact details, acting as a bouncer to your notification center, and letting you know when a bumped meeting might cause problems for your plans later in the evening. It's a pretty ambitious endeavor, and by far the biggest feature set added to iOS in years. If it works well enough, and sure, that's a big if right now, it could change the way we think about interacting with our phones. On the other hand, it's still unknown whether Apple Intelligence will even come to the base model iPhone 16, and generative intelligence more generally is still a largely unproven and potentially unreliable technology that hasn't been tested on anywhere near as large an audience as the iPhone user base. So the success of Apple Intelligence is by no means guaranteed. There's also the issue of regional delays, the fact that Apple Intelligence will only be available in US English in beta around the time of the new iPhone's launch, with other territories forced to wait while Apple untangles tricky inter-regional language differences. And things are likely to be complicated further by the EU's new AI regulation, which could see Apple Intelligence facing lengthy delays in most of Europe. So that's the long and short of what we're expecting for the next generation of iPhones. Check out Pocket Now's rundown of iOS 18 and Apple Intelligence for more on that, and stick around and subscribe here on XDA for full coverage of the new Apple toys once they're available. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.